Up on the court for the Vikings. Eagles still in a huddle over in front of their own bench. And again, just about ready to get this ball game underway. Emery with a good season so far, only dropping 2 contests. Still ready to begin conference play. Ready to take the opening tip off. It is Tory Huggins and Kennedy Moore. Tip is won by the Eagles, and it is picked up by Lindsay Say. She brings it down the right side of the court. Pass it over to Chernow. Now driving forward is Alza with it. Alza kicks out to Huggins. Outside of the paint, Lindsay Say with it, a couple of dribbles, and Alza from 3, and it's no good, off the rim short. Picked up by the Vikings. Coming down with it is Mourning. She's going to pass it over to Parsons on the right wing. Left-hand dribble. All the way back to Mourning now in front of the Emery bench. Mourning's pass is blocked, picked up by Alza. She couldn't quite get on the fast break, had a little trouble with the dribble. But now the Eagles are on the attack. Stuck with it now is Erato, and she's going to be called for a travel as she had a couple of Vikings in her face there. So it will be Barry ball. No score yet in this one. About at the 9-minute mark here in the first quarter. Mourning with it in front of the Emery bench. Driving to the right side near the top of the key. Dishes it over to Parsons. Parsons right-hand dribble near the right wing. Fakes out Say. Comes inside the paint. Puts up a shot, and it's off the glass and in. So a good shot there by Parsons. First score of the game. 2-0. Vikings on top. All right, so we continuing the action here as the Eagles have it on their own side of the court. Dribbling in his turn now, kicks it over to Huggins. Huggins from 3, and it's just off the rim, no good, picked up by the Vikings. So now I'm joined by color commentator Michele Bevan. Michele, little technical difficulties there, but hopefully we can get this underway.
Yeah, hopefully so. Sorry about that, everybody, but we're excited to get going.
All right, so the next shot is made. It's again Parsons, and it's now 4-0 Eagles, or excuse me, 4-0 Vikings as Emery trying to get back into this one. It's Alza with it on the left wing in front of the UAA logo. Now passes it back to Erato. Now it's out to Chernow from deep, and she buries it. Eagles now within 1. It is 4-3. Just under 8 minutes to play here in the first period. Mourning with it just to the right of the key. He dishes it over to Fraser. Now it's all the way back to Parsons. Parsons directing traffic. Trying to dribble in. Stops, spins. Kicks it over. A little bit of traffic there. Almost knocked away, but it's picked up by Fraser. Shot clock winding down. Mourning with a desperation layup, and she makes it. It's now 6-3.
And great defense overall by the Eagles on that possession. They're coming out in that man-to-man, showing a lot of pressure, but Barry just with the upper hand and getting a great shot off. And Tory Huggins with the 2-point play as the answer back to the Barry Vikings.
Good shot there by Huggins as the Vikings are back on the attack. Up only 1 now, 6-5, with just under 7 to play. Driving forward is Mourning, contested layup, and she's able to put it through for 2 more.
And Barry off to the quick start. Emery is normally with the team with the hot hand, especially when they're playing at home, averaging 20 points each first quarter that they've played so far. So Barry coming out looking good.
Alza with it. Kicks it over to Erato in front of the Vikings bench. Now it's Chernow with it. Left-hand dribble. Runs into a little bit of a road block. Inside pass, though, to Alza, and she puts it up and in.
And that was a great look by Chernow. She's done a great job assisting and putting other players in positions to succeed so far this year.
It is 8-7. Barry with a 1-point lead trying to add on to that. And they do with a beautiful jump shot there by Fraser, and it's now 10-7. Eagles back on the attack. Say with it just to the left of the key. Stands right on top of the UAA logo, kicks it out to Huggins. And now it's to Chernow in front of the Vikings bench. Chernow directing traffic. Shot clock down to 7. kicks it out. 3 put up, and just off the rim by Erato, but Huggins somehow gets the rebound, but she's unable to keep a hold of it as she almost flies out of bounds.
Oh, and a tough foul on Lindsay Say. That was excellent hustle by Tory Huggins, but none of her teammates ran to the ball to help her as she threw it back in bounds.
So the foul there on Say. First foul of the game for either squad. Just about at the 5-minute mark here of the first period. Mourning's going to take it out for the Vikings. Dribbling to the right, and she's going to run in to Alza, who's going to be booked for the foul.
And Alza getting her first start of the game today. She's been exceptional so far for the Eagles this year. Coach Jackson even specifically mentioned her in our pregame interview and just said how exceptional she's been doing on and off the court this year.
So the Vikings set to inbound. Mourning will start with it, gives it to Parsons. Parsons on the wing, puts it up from 3 off the back heel, and it's going to be picked up by the Eagles. Chernow coming back with it. Chernow long pass. 3's put up, and no good by Lyndall. And the Vikings right back on the attack as Mourning crosses the timeline, going to her left. Frazier on the left wing, back to Mourning, in front of the Eagles bench. Driving right now, just to the left of the key. Dish it over to Frazier, almost knocked away by Huggins, and then it's almost knocked away again by Chernow, but a foul is going to be called.
And that's 3 quick fouls by the Emery guards. They have to be careful. Coach Jackson consistently will sit guards who get 2 fouls early on in this first quarter.
Definitely not a place you want to be in right off the bat there. 3 team fouls this quickly after playing it clean for most of the first period.
And that's Sydney Blankenship checking in for the Vikings.
Mourning with it now on the left side, battling with Chernow, and she's going to be knocked out of bounds, and the ball will go back to the Eagles. Good defense there by Chernow. It's 10-7, Barry up 3, with about 4.5 to play in the opening period. Say with it now on the right side. Dish it over to Huggins at the top of the key, looking for somewhere to go with it. Pass it over to Lyndall. Dahl, couple of steps, now going to her right, near the free throw line. She's going to dish it out again to Ripley. Ripley trying to find near the block, and she's going to somehow get the ball away to Huggins, who puts it up for 2.
That might have been a travel, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, definitely a nice play there by the Eagles, getting a couple of points, down just 1, 10-9. Under 4 to play. 3 is put up there by the Vikings, and it's no good off the rim. And now back come the Eagles, trying to get ahead of the defense, but Ripley can't hold on to the ball. Now they're fighting for it inside the paint, and the whistle's going to be blown. The ball will be jumped, and it'll go in favor of the Vikings.
Both teams showing a lot of hustle and fight early on. This is going to be an exciting game.
And so far, off to a good start. 1-point game, 10-9. 3:44 to go here in the first period. Eagles can't quite get a lot going as of yet. They've made a couple of nice plays to keep it close, but still waiting for them to really turn it on. Mourning driving in quickly. She is rejected by Ripley.
Blair Ripley leading the squad so far this year with 16 blocks, and you see it right there. Her timing is excellent.
Yeah, fantastic job there by Ripley. One of the bigger players here on this Eagle squad at 6'1", one of 2 players over 6 feet along with Tory Huggins. And she took full advantage of there. She's a full foot taller than Mourning, who's only 5'1". Mourning with it in front of the Eagles bench. Ball ends up going out of bounds here.
And there's Huggins trying to get on the board with 1 block of her own.
Definitely a good job there by the 2 bigger players here on Emery, using their height to their advantage. Vikings with it now. Only 5 seconds on the shot clock. And it's poked away and will go all the way into the backcourt for a backcourt violation. Good job there by the Emery defense. That was Tory Huggins with the poke there. It will be Eagles ball. Huggins set to inbound.
And Claire Brock, the other freshman for the Eagles, will check into the game for Allison Chernow, who looks to be holding her wrist or her arm maybe on the sideline.
Hopefully she's okay. Mourning leaves the game for the Vikings. Coming in is Elizabeth Searzant. So Say with it for the Eagles, right in front of the Barry bench over on the right side. Going to pass it inside. Now it's going to be Lyndall with it. And her pass to Huggins is a little bit wild, and it goes out of bounds.
Oh, but what a great look. That would have been a great play. She'd found Huggins just on the inside.
3 minutes to go. It's still 10-9, Barry up here in the first period. The Vikings coming down with it. It's Parsons with it. Kicks it over to Blankenship. Blankenship driving in hard, puts up a shot, and in.
Barry so far finding a lot of success driving right to the rim and just managing to keep the Eagles out of foul trouble.
Lindahl shoots a three, but it's no good. Hits off the heel of the rim. Back to the Vikings. 12-9. Barry is in the lead. Parsons just to the right of key, now driving left. Kicks it out to Sandman, who puts up a shot. Off the glass, no good. Goes into the hands of Ripley, and the Eagles are back with it. Long pass to Lindahl. She drives in, up, and she makes it, and a foul is called. And that's going to be an and one.
What a great pass from her senior teammate, Lindsay Say, all the way down the court to hit her in stride for that shot.
So it's now 12-11. Emery is down one, and they get a chance to tie it here as Lyndall goes to the line for the first time, shooting 52% from the stripe this season. A couple of dribbles, puts it up and in, and we got a tie ball game.
And Molly Weiss just checked in for Lindsay Say.
So it's tied at 12, just about 2 minutes to go here in the first period. The Vikings back on the attack. Parsons near the top of the key. She drives in, tries to make a shot, but loses a handle of it, and it goes out of bounds. And I believe it is off the Eagles, so Barry will keep the ball.
Now Anna Erato back in the game for Tory Huggins. Coach Jackson testing out some different lineups early in this game, more so than she typically does.
Barry back with it. Parsons, now it's out to three. Putting up the shot was Searzant. Does not fall, but she gets knocked down. And I believe she'll... Not sure where the foul was called. So they are going to call the foul on Anna Rato.
Looks like the foul call was on the floor. It was not during the shot. So they must have called the foul after the shot, just giving the Vikings back the basketball.
So that was a good break for the Eagles, but the Vikings still have it. 13 seconds to go on the clock. Driving in with it is Blankenship. She's going to kick it over to Parsons. Running out of time now. She puts up a tough shot, and it's a little short. And it's back to the Eagles. Driving down is Brock. She's going to kick it out. Three is put up and drained by Molly Weiss.
And that's really one of the best things that Molly brings into this. She's just such a great sharpshooter. In addition to her defensive intensity, she can come in and hit those threes.
Parsons puts up a three of her own for the Vikings, but it is a little wide. And back to the Eagles. So Eagles took the lead for the first time in this one. It's 15-12 with just over a minute to play in the first period. Ripley near the top of the key. Left-hand dribble, dishes it off to Lyndall. Dahl driving right, now looking for somewhere to go, but has to kick it out. Kick it out to Erato, puts up a three, no good. Now it's back to the Vikings. Sandman has it. And now it gives it to Parsons to cross the timeline. 45 seconds to go in the first period. Vikings trying to get back into this one. Three is put up by Frazier, and it's short, no good. Battling for the ball with it now is Lyndall and Sandman. Whistle is going to be blown, and it will be Emery ball. 15-12 the score. 38 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Brock will bring it across the timeline. Battling with Mourning. Driving right, now heading back left. Inside pass to Ripley. Ripley kicks it out to Erato. Erato trying to find somewhere to go with it. Gives it back to Brock now just to the left of the key. Back to Erato, puts it up from deep, and it's no good. Rattles off the iron, and it goes back to Barry. 12 seconds to go now in the first quarter. Mourning trying to direct traffic, but they're running out of time. 5 seconds to go. Mourning kicks it out. Now driving in, trying to put up a tough shot, and just missing it was Elizabeth Searzant. That'll end the first quarter. 15-12. Emery leads Barry.
both teams seem like on their last possession trying to set up some kind of a set play, but both defenses pretty intense so far in this first quarter, and just taking away the first option, knowing those play calls and knowing what the other team is trying to do, the players they're trying to look for, and both defenses just doing a successful job of shutting that down.
So at this point, what have you seen out of Emery, and what would you like to see them maybe do a little bit better here in this quarter?
I think their defensive intensity has been pretty good. They just have yet to get into the flow offensively. They're taking a couple of really quick shots, and so I'm hoping Coach Jackson will tell them to, slow down a little bit, pass the ball around the perimeter a little bit more, get an inside touch before they put up that quick shot.
We've seen them use a lot of players already. I know they usually keep to kind of a fairly set starting lineup, but we've already seen a lot of switching going on. What do you think is going on with that?
There could be a couple reasons. I think the first might be Coach Jackson's just trying to look at different combinations of players. Certain combinations just find more success, especially on the offensive end. They play well together. So she might be testing out a few combinations. Or secondly, it could be that she thinks that there's some kind of matchup against Barry that makes it a unique situation tonight, that it benefits her to switch in and out players more quickly, or adjusting for matchups as they're bringing in and out players more quickly than the average team does too.
So after the first quarter, you have three people, or the leading scorer is Tory Huggins with 4 points for the Eagles. Vikings will start off the second quarter. It's Mourning with it in front of the Emery bench, now driving right near the top of the key. Looking for somewhere to go instead, puts up a shot, and she buries it. Mourning with her 6th points of the game. Huggins with it. Dish it over to Chernow on the left side. She loses the handle of it, and it goes out of bounds. Vikings ball.
And Emery coming out on a press in this second quarter, see if they can get some more pressure on the basketball.
And the Vikings have dominated possession for the first quarter. Mourning drives straight through two Eagles. Dish it off to Frazier, puts up an air ball, a little bit too strong, and now Eagles back with it. Long pass to Chernow over on the left side, waiting for her teammates to join her. She's going to now dish it back over to Weiss. Weiss back to Chernow. Now it's over to Brock, puts it up, and it's no good off the heel of the rim, but it's picked up by Erato. Now given to Huggins, and she buries it.
And the Vikings with no trouble with that press during that first possession. We'll see if Emery can find some more success this time.
Long pass there to Moore. She puts up a shot off the glass, no good. Back to the Eagles. Brock coming down with it. Gonna pass it over to Weiss. Weiss inside pass to Erato. Back out to Huggins near the elbow. Back out to Weiss, and she drains another three. Weiss with her second three of the ball game.
Yeah, coming into this game, Weiss was 16 for 35 on threes and 100% from the free throw line, so it's clear she's a shooter.
Mourning's pass is picked off by the Eagles. Coming back down is Weiss. She is on the fast break, lays it up and in. So Weiss with two big shots there. It is now 22-14 as Emery starts to pull ahead of Barry here in the second quarter.
Yeah, that press has clearly gotten Barry a little bit sped up. Even if the steals haven't come directly from the press, as soon as Barry's gotten into their offense, they've been a little bit discombobulated, a little bit unable to find that flow offensively. And so just that little disruption has led to a couple of quick baskets for the Eagles.
You can see them call a timeout there, trying to reset themselves after this change of pace by the Eagles. Press keeping everything moving. And Barry's done a good job of getting through it and getting shots. They just haven't been taken advantage of in the last two times. So we'll see what these two squads do. Again, Emery with an 8-point lead here in the second quarter. Seen a lot of play at the point guard position already from Claire Brock. Seems like she's getting a pretty big look.
And Coach Jackson dropping out of that press now, assuming that during that timeout the other coach put in something to the effect of breaking the press. So Coach Jackson just wanting to give a new look and get out of it for a few minutes.
Shot put up by Moore, but she runs into contact and falls down to the hardwood. So it will be a foul called on Emery. And Moore will go to the line for a couple of shots. The foul is on Claire Brock, her first foul of the ball game. Kenny Moore dribbling a couple times. First shot up and in, no problem. Moore 53% from the stripe this season. Already makes the first one. It's now 22-15. Emery still on top. Moore spins the ball, couple of dribbles, bends the knees, lofts that one straight through, makes both of them. Now it's 22-16, but Emery right back on the attack. Huggins top of the key, left-hand dribble, dish it over to Chernow on the left side. Runs into a little bit of trouble, dish it over for Weiss, puts up a three, and it's just a little strong off the iron, and it will go back into the hands of the Vikings. Parsons with the ball on the right wing now. Trying to look for somewhere to go, gets a little space, puts it up from the free throw line and buries it for two more. And it's now 22-18.
Parsons definitely with the hot hand in the past two games. Coach Jackson specifically mentioned how well she'd been playing lately and that the Emery guards were supposed to look out for her and really have a hand up as they're guarding her to keep her from getting wide open shots.
Chernow with it on the left wing. Finds a lane, tries to put up a shot, and she is rejected by Kennedy Moore.
Chernow clearly thinking that was going to be a foul called. But I think it was a pretty clean block.
Yeah, definitely good job there by Moore, 5'10 sophomore against the 5'6 Chernow. But it is still Emery ball. Lindsay Say ready to inbound it under the basket. Her pass is blocked by Mourning, who comes back down with it, almost stripped, but holds on to it, battles with Weiss, passes it to Moore. She puts up a rough shot that goes all the way over the backboard. And it will be Emery ball. So we've seen a couple of plays like that where Barry looks like they're getting something going, but then they just haven't been able to finish.
It does. They've had a little bit of trouble in transition, just finishing, connecting with their teammates in transition.
Lindsay Say now in front of the Barry bench, dished it over to Lyndall. Lyndall to Chernow in the left corner. Now working back right against Moore. Long pass to Weiss on the right wing. Now it's going to be Lyndall just to the left of the key. Chest pass back to Weiss. 7 seconds to shoot for the Eagles. Chernow with it. She shoots from three and just off the iron, no good. Back into the hands of the Vikings. Back down with it now was Blankenship. Dish it back to Parsons on the left side. Now it's inside to Sandman. Nowhere to go. Now Moore, now to Mourning. Moore puts it up though, and she hits off the rim again, and back to the Vikings.
And so far, Emery is winning the rebounding battle, 13-10 for total rebounds.
Three put up by Weiss for the Eagles, no good. Rebound grab by Lyndall. She puts up a shot and makes it. Crashes all the way to the hardwood, but makes the shot anyway.
Yeah, great hustle play by the senior and a great finish over a taller post player.
24-18, Emery in the lead, under 6 to play here in the first half. Mourning passed it over to Parsons on the right wing. Couple of dribbles, runs into Huggins, has to go around her, dish it over to Moore, who has some space. Instead, pass it inside to Mourning. She puts it up inside the paint, no good off the rim, picked up by the Eagles. Say with it, dish it over to Chernow in front of the Vikings bench. Now to Huggins inside, tries to split the defenders, puts up a tough shot, no good. A little bit of contact there, but no foul is called.
And both teams seem to have a struggle getting into their offensive sets in these past couple minutes.
24-18. Emery with the lead. Just over 5 to play. Mourning from deep. No good off the glass. And now it's into the hands of Chernow and the Eagles.
We'll see if Emery slows up here to set up something offensively for a set play.
Chernow driving right towards the free throw line. Puts up a shot short. And the Vikings will take over.
And I think that's the moment when a senior has to pull the ball back, set a set play, and kind of settle their team down. The quick shot wasn't the best move for Allison in that situation.
Pass by Mourning is knocked out of bounds by Say. We were talking a little beforehand just how good Say is defensively, especially on the takeaways. Averages over 3 steals per game.
Yeah, she's been a remarkable senior for this team. She's also on the offensive end, has a 4.8 assisted turnover ratio. So it's absolutely incredible for a point guard. And you can trust that she's not going to turn the ball over when the ball's in her hands.
Parsons with it. For the Vikings, passes it to Blankenship. Blankenship moving left, back to Parsons on the left wing. Fake step there, now drives into the paint, kicks it back out. Blankenship from 3, and it's no good, just off the right side of the rim, and back to the Eagles it goes. Under 4.5 to play now. 3 is put up by Ripley, but it hits off the heel of the rim, and the Vikings take back over.
And it's another quick possession for the Eagles. They didn't get much ball movement or go inside at all. Just another quick shot, so they're having trouble getting into that flow, and I'd like to see them take a little bit more time.
Blankenship tries to put up a shot. It's knocked away But then stealing it right back is Frazier, and she puts it off the glass for 2 points. 24-20 now. But the Eagles back on the offense. Wide open shot there by Lindahl, and she makes it. Good counterattack there by the Eagles after giving up those 2 points. They take it right back with a beautiful play by Lindahl. Wide open under the glass. Barry coming back. Shot put up by Parsons, no good. Rebound, though, is grabbed and made by Sandman. Her first points of the game.
The past 2 possessions have been a shot by Ripley. Good follow.
Ripley now gets her own rebound, but misses it the second time, then tries to get it again, couldn't put that one in, and Barry gets it back.
I was about to say, Emery's getting the last 2 possessions, they've gotten beat on that offensive rebound by the Vikings and given them multiple opportunities, and then they end up scoring down low.
Frazier battling tough with Ripley on the right wing, finally gets it out to Parsons. 10 seconds to shoot. Parsons top of the key, trying to drive in, kicks it out. 3 is put up by Blankenship. It's short, no good, and it will find its way out of bounds. 3 minutes to go here in the half, 26-22, Emory on top.
And I'm curious if Coach Jackson's going to go back to that press. Emory found a lot of success. They had that 8-point run early on in this quarter. And she just put Tory Huggins and Claire Brock back in, which both of them were in during that pressing lineup earlier in the quarter. So I'm curious if she's going to go back to that defensively.
Lindsay Say will bring it across the timeline as she directs traffic. Guarded by Frazier. And a little bit of contact there. Looks like Say draws the foul. Foul is going to be on Raven Washington. Her first foul of the ball game. And the first foul for Barry. So they went almost a full half without giving up a foul. Say inbounds it to Huggins. Huggins over to Brock. Brock now to Ripley at the top of the key. Back and forth. Dish it over to Say in front of the Vikings bench. Tries to drive in, runs into a wall in Sandman. And it looks like she is going to be called for the offensive foul.
And for a very aggressive Barry defense, this is only their second foul of the whole quarter, of the game. That's really impressive. They've clearly played really smart while still being pretty intense defensively.
Ripley with it near the free throw line. Back out to Brock. Past the 3-point line. Now it's inside Huggins. She puts up a tough shot. No good. Rebound, though, is grabbed by Alza. She puts up a shot. No good, but draws the foul. Foul is going to be on Kennedy Moore, her first foul of the game. It's the third team foul against the Vikings in this half.
Not too many free throws by either team so far. Emery's 1 for 1 and Barry is 2 for 2. So we'll see if Barry can keep that going.
First shot up and in from Alza. Alza shooting 43% from the stripe this season. Ready for the second one. Few dribbles. Goes up and in, no problem. Barely moves the net. That makes it 28-22 in favor of the Eagles with about 2:15 to go in the half. Parsons with it into the UAA logo. Her pass is blocked by Alza, and she picks it up. Good turnover there for the Eagles. Gives it to Say. Brock in front of the basket, off the glass, no good. So a good job there defensively for the Eagles. Couldn't turn it into points, though. And it remains 28-22 with under 2 to play in the half. Parsons battling Alza, now kicks out to Moore. Inside shot is put up by Oxford. It falls no good. Back to the Eagles. Say long pass to the left side. Alza fakes the 3, then tries to pass it inside to Ripley, but it's taken away by Moore. So another turnover here by the Eagles. Both teams struggling trying to get the ball in the hoop these last few offensive possessions. Inside is Washington. She puts up a shot again, no good. Back to the Eagles. Say passes to Brock. Brock puts up a jumper, rattles around the rim, doesn't find its mark, and the Vikings will pick it up. Tries to save it, but Alza's going to pick it up. Misses the shot. It's blocked. She gets it again. Now Huggins kicks it out to Brock from deep, and again off the iron. Picked up again by Alza. She puts up another shot. Again missed. Huggins tries to grab it, and it's finally picked up by the Vikings. So about 3 chances there for the Eagles, and they couldn't put it away.
Well, excellent effort on all of those rebounds, but just couldn't quite get it in. There must be a lid on that basket during that possession.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for the Eagles there on that possession. About 30 seconds to go. 3 is put up by Frazier, but it falls no good. And the Eagles take over yet again. Say driving in and puts the brakes on. 25 to go in the half. Brock with it in front of the Vikings bench on the right side. Tries to find a lane, kicks it out. 3 put up by Huggins, and it's well short. Looked like that ball might have been tipped there by the Vikings. 16 and a half seconds to go in the half. It's still 28-22, Emory on top.
And Molly Weiss and Kennedy Quatre checking in for more of a defensive lineup for this last possession for the Vikings.
Ready to inbound now for Barry is Elizabeth Searsant. Trying to get it to Mourning. Mourning now takes it. Battling with Weiss. Crosses the timeline on the left side. Puts on the brakes. Now drives forward. Kicks it out. Now it's Washington. Washington inside the paint. Kicks it out to Searsant. 4 seconds to go. She puts it up from 3 and buries it. Searsant with a huge 3 right at the end of the half. And we have reached halftime, 28-25. Emory is up by 3. So, Michele, we got a first half of play. Saw a lot of different looks from the Eagles, a lot of different things going on. Nothing quite stuck at any one point. What's your kind of takeaway with this first half?
Well, I'm really curious if Coach Jackson's going to go back to that press. They found some success. That's when they went on that little 8-0 run, like we said. But in last year's game, Emory beat Barry at Barry 68-62 on November 30th of last season, and they had a really strong third quarter. That's when they kind of found that separation. They came out in the third quarter and scored 18 points. So I'm curious to see if they can carry that momentum in and come out strong in the second half.
Would you say that so far the season has Emory shown themselves to be strong in the second half?
They've shown themselves to be really strong in the fourth quarter. I mean, they usually score 18 points. They're averaging 18 points in the fourth quarter. Typically, their second quarter is actually their lowest. They're only averaging about 14 points in the second quarter. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see what adjustments both teams are going to make offensively and defensively as they come out for the second half.
So, again, we are at halftime here from the Woodruff PE Center, where Emory leads Barry 28-25. We'll take about a 10-minute break or so. We'll be back to set up the second half, just about that period of time, and then we'll bring you the second half here in this ball game. We'll be back in just a moment. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back here to the Woodruff PE Center, where Emory leads Barry 28-25. Halftime is just about over. The final little warm-ups here are going on. This is Mark Cochran. Joined with me is Michele Bevan, former Emory player. And Michele, we were talking a little bit about kind of the first half and stuff. What are some of these keys you think for both squads here in the second half?
Yeah, well, I think Emery got a little bit sped up in that second quarter by Barry's pressure defense. Barry was doing a really good job getting deflections and making Emery just feel really sped up, so they weren't really getting into their offensive sets, setting up plays, looking inside, looking to take advantage of their height in Tory, Huggins, and Blair, Ripley. So I think one of the keys for Emery this half is definitely look inside and really set up their offense and pass the ball around the perimeter before taking a quick shot. For Barry, they have to keep putting that pressure defense onto the Eagles and make them feeling sped up. But then offensively, I think they need to take their time, continue to drive to the basket, and kick out to their open shooters.
So we're about done with halftime. In the first half, leading scorer for Emory is Molly Weiss. She's hit a couple of big threes. She leads with 8 points. Just behind her, though, is Erin Lindahl with 7. Leading scorer on the other side for the Vikings, tied with 6 points, is Mourning and Evelyn Parsons.
One of the other big keys for this game is going to be that rebounding margin. Emory so far winning that 27-19. Both games that Emory has lost this year, they have lost the rebounding margin. So I know Coach Jackson is really impressing upon them the importance of rebounding. So we'll watch that statistic as this game continues.
So Erato will dish it to Say to start off this second half. Eagles going left to right now. With the ball is Alza. She puts up a shot and rattles off the glass in the rim. No good. Huggins gets the rebound, puts it up and in. Big offensive rebound there for Huggins. As you were talking about it, just there, rebounding. The Eagles not doing as well as the Vikings, so they pull a big one out of the hat right there for 2 points. Now 30-25 is the score. Vikings with the ball, but it's going to end up being knocked out of bounds by Chernow.
And Emory is still not coming out in that press, but they are sticking with the man-to-man defense.
Parsons with it, just to the left, or just to the right of the key. Passes inside to Moore. 4 seconds to shoot. Parsons back with it, puts up a desperation shot. It's no good off the heel of the rim. And it's going to be picked up by Alza. She takes it back down for the Eagles. To Huggins, to Chernow. Inside now to Erato. Back out to Chernow. And they're going to say she stepped out of bounds. Didn't really look like it from here, but they're going to say her heel went out of bounds.
Her heel was just barely on the line as she scooted back after getting the ball back.
So a little bit of a disappointing turnover there for the Eagles. Goes back to the Vikings with Mourning battling with Alza. Bounce pass inside to Frazier. Shot put up, and it's again off the heel of the rim. No good. Picked up by Erato. Rato dribbles it a few times, hands it off to Say, who crosses the timeline. Long pass over to Alza in the left corner. Now she works her way to the wing. Pass it over to Huggins just to the right of the key. Huggins right-hand dribble, one-handed bounce pass to Chernow, who drives down near the paint but puts on the brakes, gives it back out. 3 put up by Erato, it's short. And Mourning will pick it up and come quickly down the court for the Vikings.
And Emery's still not really going inside offensively, mostly passing around the perimeter and looking for that on-ball screen.
Parsons with it now. Pass it over to Frazier. And now it's over with Sandman. Sandman, a few dribbles, runs into a wall there of Eagles. Finally gets it out to Mourning. 5 seconds to shoot. Got to find somewhere to go. Splits the defenders, puts up a shot from the paint. One-handed, no good, picked up by Huggins. Staying on her was Moore. She finally gets it out to Say, who will cross the center line, directing traffic, gives it to Erato. She puts up a shot and no good off the iron. Back to the Vikings. Mourning crosses the Eagle head. 7:30 to go here in the third quarter. 30-25. Emory with the lead. Moore in the right corner. Pass it over to Parsons. Parsons driving against Say. Puts up a contested shot. Spins around the rim. Does not fall. And now it's back to the Eagles. Chernow with the pass, puts it up off the glass and in. Great pass from Say there to Chernow.
Great hustle play for the Eagles with Barry struggling to get back, but offensively the Vikings are doing an amazing job of just getting all the way to the rim. That's 2 possessions in a row. They drove straight to the rim and got all the way there without any Emery help getting there. So Mourning especially has been really impressive, just beating the Eagles off the bounce.
32-25, Emory with the lead. Timeout is called by Barry, trying to reset themselves. We saw this happen in the first half when the Eagles started to get a little bit of momentum. Barry doing a good job trying to slow things down. You can definitely tell a big thing with the Vikings has been trying to control the pace of this game. They've done a pretty good job of it so far. Whenever the Eagles start to go one way or the other, either faster or slower, they've been able to flip kind of that pace and have been able to use it to their advantage to keep this game pretty close.
Yeah, Coach Jackson would like her seniors especially to step up and dictate the pace of these games and dictate the tempo, which is typically more up-paced. They want to play a really fast game, a lot of possessions, and get a lot of shots up. And so far tonight, it seems like Barry's been able to put the brakes on that while still maintaining a lot of ball pressure on the Eagles.
Mourning gets the inbound for the Vikings near the top of the key, battling with Alza. Pass it over to Sandman. Sandman to Frazier. Frazier to Moore. Moore back to Parsons in front of the Vikings bench. Bounce pass inside to Sandman. She spins, puts up a shot. No good, little short. Good defense there by the Eagles. And they'll get the rebound. Ripley grabs it. And Say comes back down for Emery. She's on the right wing. Bounce pass over to Erato. Rato gives it to Alza. Battling with Moore. Inside to Erato. Battling with it is Sandman, but she rips it away and puts it off the glass and in. It is now 34-25, Eagles on top.
What a great hustle play and shot by Anna Erato. That was a great play by the sophomore.
Vikings back with it. Frazier near the top of the key. Heavy coverage by Ripley. Gives it over to Parsons. Parsons back and forth. Sandman trying to set a pick. Now she backs off of it and grabs the pass. Mourning over on the right wing. 6 seconds to shoot here for the Vikings. Mourning finds a seam, puts up a shot. A lot of contact, and no foul is called. She goes over and argues with the ref for a second. But it is Emery ball, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds as they try and quickly come back on the other side. And it was knocked out by the Vikings, so it will still be Emery ball.
Several substitutions for the Eagles just now. I'm curious if Coach Jackson's also trying to just manage minutes because the Eagles play again on Thursday.
Makes a lot of sense. 3 is put up and drained by Erin Lindahl, who just entered the game. Lindahl with a big 3. It is now 37-25. Emery on top with 5:30 to go here in the third quarter. Mourning with it.
Barry's got to figure out a way to get some points on the board in this quarter. Otherwise, Emery's going to go on a run this quarter that they're going to have a lot of trouble coming back from.
Parsons puts up a shot. It's no good. But in the ensuing battle for the rebound, we have about 4 or 5 players down on the ground. I believe the ball was jumped, and so that will be Vikings ball. So Barry will inbound from their baseline. Every coverage here for the Eagles. Just barely getting it off is Parsons. And now Mourning will take it on the right wing in front of the Vikings bench. Back and forth she goes, trying to find a spot, but her pass is knocked away. And picking it back up are the Eagles. Back on the offensive is Emery. Weiss with it now just to the left of the key. Under 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Lindahl with it on the right wing, fakes the shot, and left-hand dribbles near the free throw line. Underhand passes it all the way back to Weiss. 8 seconds to shoot for the Eagles. Ripley at the top of the key, fakes the shot, drives inside the paint, passes it inside, now kicks it back out to Weiss from 3, and it's just short off the iron, but the rebound is picked up by Ripley. She puts up a shot, no good again, but the rebound is now picked up by Quatre, and she's able to get it out to Weiss all the way over in front of the Eagles bench. So a couple great offensive rebounds there from the Eagles, and they're still on the attack. Shot is put up and made by Erato, and the offensive rebounds that time pays off. 39-25, Eagles on top.
And that was great by Molly to set something up, get the screen and roll, and then look inside for Anna Erato.
So good offensive series there for the Eagles. Vikings trying to come back with it. Parsons' pass goes over the head of Sandman, who was not looking for it, and it's picked up by Quatre. She comes in, kicks it out to Weiss. Now it's to the top of the key with Ripley. She tries to drive in, one-handed shot just off the heel of the rim, tries to get her own rebound, but it goes out of bounds. It will be Viking ball. 3:52 to go in the third period. Emery up 39-25 on Barry. Finally starting to pull away as the Vikings have really been unable to do anything. No points for Barry in this third quarter so far.
And Emery's done a great job, especially on those offensive rebounds, to just give themselves more chances and more shots. That's really how they've been able to do. And Molly Weiss with a fantastic steal and 2 points more for the Eagles. Barry looks a little bit frustrated now, and there's a player down on the court as well.
Yeah, great steal there by Molly Weiss. Just picked the pocket of, I believe it was Raven Washington, and then was able to take it down on the fast break for the score. And Washington is down right now just underneath the Eagle head outside of the center circle. Now the trainer's over there looking at her, and she looks to be in rough shape, unable to put hardly any weight on her right leg. She does have a brace on her right knee, and it looks like she might have re-aggravated that. So she's being helped off the court to an applause here by the crowd, and hopefully she'll be all right. It's 41-25, Emory on top. 3:41 to go here in the third period. Now we'll see what the Vikings do with one of their starting players seemingly out of the game, at least for now, in Capri Fraser, or excuse me, in Raven Washington. Mourning with it, tries an inside bounce pass. Sandman just barely grabs it. She puts up a shot, no good off the iron. Huggins tries to get the rebound. It's pulled away, but the Eagles still end up with it. Weiss with it on the right wing. Pass it over to Huggins just to the left of the key, up from deep, and it misses short. And it's going to go out of bounds. And it will be Emery ball, as they're going to say it went off of, I believe, Sandman there at the last second.
That was a good hustle play by Kennedy Quatre, just at the last second to throw it back to the Vikings player.
So Quatre is going to inbound it from under the basket, gives it to Huggins. Huggins to Lyndall on the left wing. Fakes a step, holds it over her head, finally passes it out to Brock. She puts it up from three, off the iron, no good. But the rebound is grabbed by Huggins inside the paint, kicks it out to Brock. She puts up the layup and in and draws the foul.
What a great play by the Eagles. That was great heads-up play by Erin to hustle for that rebound, and then Tory to see Brock streaking towards the basket.
Fantastic play. Brock gets her first points of the game, and now gets a chance to add a couple here. First shot up and in. 3-point play there by the Eagles. It makes it 44-25 here with under 3 to play in the third period.
And both teams still 100% from the free throw line this game, which I've never seen that before. That's, even though they haven't taken many of them, it's still impressive.
Very impressive. Vikings trying to get back in this. Shot put up there by Moore, no good, and the rebound is grabbed by Lyndall. Again, the Eagles done a much better job rebounding so far in this third period than they did in the first half, and it has paid off for them, as the Vikings have been unable to score here in the third quarter. Eagles back on the attack. Lyndall from deep, little long, off the back of the rim, and the rebound, though, is picked up by Quatre. Inside to Huggins, battling near the left block. Kicks it out to Brock. Brock just to the right of the key. 10 seconds to shoot here for the Eagles. Brock dished it over to Weiss. Long three, and she buries it. Weiss with her third three of the game, 47-25. Emery starting to pull way ahead of the Vikings. Weiss absolutely on fire from beyond the arc.
Yeah, Emery's come out in this third quarter and scored 19 points so far, compared to Barry's 0. So clearly gone on a really hot streak here, unable to miss from the floor, but also just getting the hustle plays. They're doing the little things. They're getting deflections defensively. They came out with intensity. And then on offense, they've just slowed down a little bit. They're taking really smart shots.
Leading scorer is Molly Weiss, 13 points in the game already. Just behind her with 10 of her own is Erin Lindahl. So 2 bench players in this game, the leading scorers for the Eagles. Of course, Lindahl has had her fair share of starting. They're coming off the bench here this afternoon, making a big impact.
And Hazel Carmona just checked in, number 20. She was playing defense on that point guard.
Shot put up by the Vikings, no good. Rebound is grabbed as well by Barry, and that shot misses at the same time. Lyndall back with it for the Eagles, runs into a little bit of trouble. Dish it over to Brock. Brock over in the left corner in front of the Eagles bench. Dribbling now right, kicks it out to Quatre. She's over on the right wing. Driving inside the baseline, puts up a shot, off the rim, no good, grabbed by the Vikings. The Vikings coming back down. Mourning crosses the timeline. Just over a minute to play in the third period. But then now is Carly Zeh, almost loses a handle of it, but holds on to it, gives it back to Mourning. Under a minute to play now in the third quarter. Mourning drives in, she puts up a shot and buries the first 2 points for the Vikings here in this second half.
Great persistence by Mourning on that play, just to keep driving, get her head down, and get all the way to the basket.
47-27, Emery on top, 40 seconds to go here in the third. Brock with it now for the Eagles, driving left. Now pauses just to the right of the free throw line, kicks out to Lyndall. She puts it up from three and makes it. Lyndall with her second three in a row and second of the game. 50-27 the score in favor of the Eagles with about 20 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Vikings coming back up with it. Mourning puts up a shot, bounces around the rim, no good. Does draw the foul though as she drops to the floor. So she'll go to the line for a couple of shots. Foul is going to be called on Erin Lindahl, her first foul of the ball game, first team foul of the half.
And Bennett Ames checking in for the Eagles for the first time this season. She's a senior, as well as Erato, number 5, coming into the game.
So Mourning puts up the first shot and knocks that one home. Mourning leads the team in free throw percentage, shooting 69% coming into today. Spins the ball, puts up a shot, and makes that one as well as it bounces around the rim. It's now 50-29 in favor of the Eagles. 8 seconds to go here in the third. Eagles trying to get one more basket off. With it now is Ames. She runs into Carmona, and they're unable to get a shot off. And that will end the period. Actually, Brock put up a shot after the buzzer and did bury the three, but unfortunately it didn't count. 50-29 is the score after 3, and it's safe to say it is all Eagles so far here in the second half.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Emery came out with a lot of intensity. They seem to have settled down on offense, and Barry just didn't come back out on the second half with the defensive intensity that they had in the first half. And definitely just a little bit more discombobulated on offense compared to how they were playing in the first half. Seems like they're a little bit tired, a little bit frustrated.
And a good job here by the Eagles, able to keep the pressure going, really not letting Barry breathe at all in that third quarter. And the difference is they were able to make a lot of those shots. They were not taking the best shots. We were talking about that there in the second quarter, missing a lot of low percentage shots. But this one, they did a much better job of creating space and getting second chances with the offensive rebounding was spectacular for the Eagles there in that quarter.
Yeah, and that came down to those hustle plays, the deflections, and then chasing after those rebounds offensively and defensively. Emery is still winning that rebounding battle, 42-25 now. So they've widened this lead in points because of their effort on the glass.
Yeah, and we were talking about that. The Vikings were up in the rebounding category at halftime, but the Eagles have just blown past them here in that third quarter. Eagles will start off with the ball. It's Lindsay Say crossing the timeline with it over on the right wing. Looking for a little bit of space. Dishes it over to Chernow right in front of the Eagles bench. Back and forth battling with Kristen Hunt, who is in the game for the Vikings. Lindsay Say with it. 10 seconds to shoot here for the Eagles. And a travel is going to be called as Anna Erato tried to pass that one.
And Barry's done a great job on Emery's set plays. They've been going under all of the on-ball screens and flare screens, and it's just managed to keep them in good position defensively to just stay in front.
So the Vikings back with it. It's Parsons over on the left wing. Looking for space, kicks it over to Hunt in front of the Vikings bench. Hunt with a few dribbles, now gives it back out to Parsons. 10 seconds to shoot here for the Vikings. Inside to Sandman. She goes in the paint, puts up a tough shot, no good off the glass, and it goes into the hands of the Eagles. It's going to be Erato with it. Passes to Say, now a long pass to Carmona. She puts up a three and drains it.
Looks like that'll be a 2. She must have had a foot on the line on that far side, but it's a little bit hard to tell from here.
So 52-29 is the score in favor of the Eagles. Under 9 minutes to play in the game. Vikings trying to get something going. 3 is put up. Hits off the rim, no good. Putting up that shot was Blankenship. Battling for the rebound now was Erato and Sandman, and I believe the foul was called on
I believe
Emery.
It was a jump ball that was called and given to the Vikings.
So the Vikings hold on to it. Parsons gives it to Hunt near the UAA logo on the left wing. Left-hand dribble, and she's going to draw the foul. Or excuse me, it was on the. It was actually a foul on Carmona of Emery, so it will remain Vikings ball. That's Carmona's first foul. Very ready to inbound it from their baseline. Gives it to Frazier. Frazier right-hand dribble and loses the handle of it, and it goes right into the hands of Bennett Ames. Eagles coming back with it. Say has it, gives it to Chernow wide open from three, but can't quite find the mark as it rattles around the iron and goes back in the hands of the Vikings. Sandman with it on the left side, spins, finds a little bit of room, but is fouled by Erato, who's not too happy about it. She thought she hit all ball. She's whistled for it for her second foul of the ball game.
And it looks like Coach Jackson taking advantage of this lead, knowing that they have to play another game in a couple of days, and getting some other players some good quality minutes and some good experience with Bennett Ames out there, Hazel Carmona, now Kennedy Quatre as well. No need to make Lindsay or Erin play 30 minutes a game, tonight when they have a game in a couple days.
So going to the line for a couple of shots here is Sandman. First shot up, and it is no good, and will go out of bounds.
There seemed to be some confusion. All the players went for the rebound, but she does have 2 shots, so someone misinformed them about how many shots she was going to take.
Yeah, it was a shooting foul. Second shot up, and she does bury that. So the score is now 52-30 in favor of the Eagles with about 8 minutes to play in the ball game. And Bennett Ames running into a little bit of trouble. The Eagles struggling to get across the timeline. Finally, Carmona's able to do it. She was double covered for a second and now passes it over to Alza. Alza over on the left wing. Right-hand dribble, kicks it out. Wide open Carmona from 3, and it's no good off the heel of the rim, but it's picked up by the Eagles. Quatre is able to give it. She's just to the right of the timeline.
Yeah, the Eagles have 14 offensive rebounds so far this game, which is excellent.
Shot put up and missed by Alza. Knocks her own rebound, though, into the hands of Erato, and the Eagles stay on the attack. Again, offensive rebounds have been spectacular in favor of Emery. A little bit of trouble there. Just barely holding on to that was Erato, but unfortunately when she saved it, it went right into the hands of the Vikings. So Parsons back with it on the left side. Gives it to Moore and back to Parsons. Moore sets the pick. Parsons right-hand dribble, kicks it out to Hunt in the right corner. One dribble and gives it over to Blankenship. Blankenship. 8 seconds to shoot. Parsons driving in. A lot of contact as Carmona and Sandman collide. And I believe they're going to get Carmona for the foul on that one. That'll be her second foul.
It was a good screen set by Sandman, and Hazel just ran right into her and knocked her over. So they're going to call that every time.
Under 7 to play now in the ball game. Emery up 52-30 over Barry. Barry, nothing doing really for them at all in this half. They were only down 3 at halftime, 28-25, but since they've only gotten 2 points. The inbound is stolen by Quatre, and then she runs into some trouble and has the ball wrestled away from her there after the steal. So it goes back to the Vikings.
And Blair Ripley coming in for Bennett Ames, as well as Tory Huggins checking back into the game.
So Sandman with it now, battling with Alza. Now dished it over to Parsons on the left wing. Bounce pass inside to Sandman. Turnaround shot, nothing doing. And it falls right in the hands of Huggins. Good defense there by Alza. 6:30 to go in the ball game. 52-30, Emery on top. Carmona's pass picked off by Moore, and the Vikings will take the ball yet again. Parsons crosses the timeline. Over in the left wing, puts up a 3 and drains it. Parsons with her first three of the ball game. It's now 52-33. Emery still on top. 6 minutes to go. Bounce pass inside to Huggins. Huggins kicks it out to Ripley just inside the three, but it's short off the front iron. Rebound battled for and gotten by Ripley. And now some hand fighting for the ball, and a foul is going to be called on Sandman. That'll be her first
Emery's
foul.
still doing a great job with those deflections to get those offensive rebounds, but the Vikings doing a great job of getting a lot of jump balls this game. They've gotten their hands on a lot of balls and been able to get the possession arrow back their direction.
Timeout is called by the Eagles. So trying to slow things down here. We've seen a lot of chaos going on, which I think is to be expected when you have a lot of new players in the game. We've seen just the ball going all over the place here. Yeah,
Emery was a little bit discombobulated with one of those lineups, and then Coach Jackson sent in a couple of her more experienced players in Ripley and Huggins, I think to kind of calm everybody down and just get everybody back on the same page. But the upcoming games for these two teams, the Eagles are going to play Thursday, like I've mentioned, against Bates here in the Woodruff PE Center. Then they'll be off for 9 days before they start UAA play, conference play, January 11th versus Rochester, also at home. And then the Barry Vikings, their next game will be Friday at home versus Rhodes. And they've already started their conference play. They played Oglethorpe a couple weeks ago, so they'll be looking to come out against Rhodes and get their first conference win.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff still to go here as we're about halfway through the 2019-2020 season. Emory will start off with it here. Under 6 to play in the game. It's going to be Alza from deep, and she hits it for 3.
And a great shot from Mariani there out of that set play.
55-33 the score. Emory on top, 5:30 to go in the game. Mourning's pass knocked away by Carmona, but she can't get a hold of it, and it's going to go out of bounds. A great block, but couldn't quite capitalize there.
Excellent steal. I thought that almost was going to be a foul on Yana, just going after the ball and knocking Hayes a little bit, but great hustle play by the senior.
So far, Carmona came in the game in the third quarter and has already made her presence known. Mourning gets the inbound, working on the right side against Carmona. Passes it to Moore. Moore immediately tries to dish it out to Serzan, but it's taken away by the Eagles. They come back down with it. Carmona gives it to Huggins on the right elbow. Bounce pass behind her to Alza, just to the left of the key, and now it's over to Brock. Brock's pass to Huggins, a little bit off the mark.
And this is great time for the Eagles, for some of the players that don't get to play as much in tighter games, for Coach Jackson to get some good film on them, to coach them on the sideline. She's clearly directing them from the bench, as you can tell, offensively, and just telling them what to look for and how to set up the offense.
So the Eagles got the inbound. Shot put up by Ripley, but it is knocked away, and they'll have to inbound it yet again.
Coach Jackson's words just now were, "Execute, please." So she's clearly frustrated with them not executing the offense like she wants them to.
Brock inbounds it. Now she has it over on the left wing. 1 second to shoot. Carmona from 3, but it's off the rim, no good. And a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Ripley, or did they say she went out of bounds? No, it is going to be a foul on Ripley, her first foul of the ball game. So pretty low foul totals so far in this game. 3 is put up by Parsons, and she nails it there for the Vikings. Again, Parsons continues to play well. Her second 3 of the quarter. It's 55-36 in favor of the Eagles. Under 4.5 to play in the game. Huggins gives it over to Alza in front of the Emery bench. Right-hand dribble, now stops, gives it to Ripley just to the right of the key. Dribbles inside, then kicks it back out to Carmona. Carmona looking for somewhere to go. A long pass to Alza. 8 seconds to shoot for the Eagles. Alza comes in, puts up a shot just outside the paint. No good. And it is going to be picked up by Parsons, who's almost run over there by Carmona. Just able to hold up. And now Mourning has it on the right side in front of the Vikings bench. Mourning, long pass to Moore. Moore drives inside, puts up a shot off the glass, spins around the rim and falls. So good job there by Moore. Her first points of this half. 55-38 is the score in favor of Emery with 3:40 to go in the game. Jump shot put up by Ripley in the free throw line, no good. Goes back to Barry. Parsons driving down the left side, battling with Carmona, puts on the brakes, passes it over, and a shot is put up but missed there by Alex Bowling.
And Barry's field goal percentage has definitely dropped in this second half. They've just been unable to hit those jump shots that they were hitting early on in this game, and getting less points in the paint as well.
So the Eagles with it here. Carmona gives it to Brock. Brock on the left side, dish it over to Alza in the left corner. She drives down the baseline, almost loses the handle of it. 6 seconds to shoot. Ripley now inside the paint, tries to put up a shot. It's knocked away and out of bounds. And it will stay Emery ball. 3 minutes to go in the game, 55-38. Eagles on top. Slew of new players entering in for the Eagles here. And we'll see what they're able to do. Inbound goes to Alza. Now it's to Huggins, who is wrapped on the face, and a foul is called. She makes the shot.
Wow, I can't believe she made that. That was excellent.
And they counted it.
A little twirl, and somehow she found the basket.
Huggins with a great shot. She kind of got raked across the face, it looked like. The foul is going to be on Sandman. That is her 4th foul. And her extra shot goes up and in. So the score is now 58-38. With under 3 to play in the ball game, Emory leads Barry. Mourning on the right wing, back and forth. Tries to kick it out, finally goes to Sandman. She puts up a 3 from deep and no good. And now a foul is called as the battle for the rebound goes, and it will be against the Eagles. And not sure who they called that on. But going to the line is going to be Kennedy Moore for the 1-and-1. And the foul was, first shot goes up and in here for Moore. The foul was on Ames. Her first foul. Second shot goes up and in as well for Moore.
They did call the foul on Bennett Ames, or at least they credited to her, but she wasn't in the game. She just now checked in. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm not sure if the referee got a little bit confused in the midst of those substitutions.
So it's now 58-40, Emory on top. Vikings steal the inbound. Back on the offensive. Hunt inside pass to Moore. Moore kicks it out to Mourning. Mourning from deep, and it's a little long, no good, but a foul is going to be called as being driven to the ground was Sandman. And that is going to be on Erato, her 3rd foul of the game.
All of a sudden, Emery being a little bit too aggressive on those rebounds, but I'm sure Coach Jackson will be just fine with that hustle.
So Sandman will go to the line. She is 1 for 2 from the line here today. 53% free throw shooter on the season. Couple of dribbles here as she spins the ball, puts it up, and off the heel of the rim, no good. So after seeing almost perfect the free throws through the first 3 quarters, we've seen a couple of misses here recently. Second one makes it, and it's now 58-41. Eagles on top, 2:27 to go in the ball game. Heavy press here by the Vikings. Eagles struggling to get it across the timeline, and Brock tries to get it, but it is stolen. Hunt walks out of bounds with it, but the whistle is not blown, so it's still Vikings ball for some reason.
She took at least 3 steps on that sideline over there. Was missed.
3 put up by Parsons. It's long, no good. Battle for the ball again, this time picked up by Carmona. Now it's Brock. Eagles 3-on-1 here against Parsons. Brock gives it over to Lyndall, who gives it back to Brock going to the right side. Under 2 to play in the ball game. Eagles up 58-41. Driving inside is Lyndall. Kicks it out to Carmona. She puts it up from 3. It's off the iron, no good. And now coming back with it are the Vikings. Mourning going through everybody there. Tries to pass, gets it to Mourning even though she's knocked down. Gets it to Sandman even though she was knocked down. And now a whistle is blown as Sandman tries to hand it to Hunt. And Barry is going to take the timeout. So 1:28 to go in the ball game. Emory up 58-41, but we've seen a little bit of a sloppy 4th quarter here.
Yeah, and Barry's definitely come out in this fourth quarter and done a much better job. The Emery lead at one point was up to 30, so they've definitely brought it back down. Emery's had a lot more trouble scoring in this fourth quarter than they did in the third quarter, and Coach Jackson making a lot of substitutions to try and figure out what's a good combination for her team. But you got to give credit to Barry and their defense in this fourth quarter compared to what happened in the third quarter.
Yeah, and also offensively, Barry with just 4 points in the third quarter. In this one, they have 12. So a little bit better fourth quarter than the third quarter for sure for the Vikings. So just a minute 28 to go in this one. Eagles just trying to hold out just a little while longer, trying to keep themselves ready for Thursday's game against Bates. A lot of new players in, as we've been talking about, getting a lot of playing time here in the second half. Trying to keep everyone rested, trying to get some of these younger players a little bit more experience. Probably exactly here what Coach Jackson was hoping for in this one.
Absolutely. These are the last two games before conference starts next weekend, so she's got to be pleased with her starters to pull away and get that lead in the third quarter and then get some of her other players some experience so they can work on a few things heading into conference play.
Parsons puts up a three, no good off the heel of the rim, and now battle for the ball on the ground. It'll be jumped, and it will be Emery ball. So again, we've seen a lot of jump balls in this one. Most of them have been in favor of the Vikings. They've done a good job forcing a lot of those. This time it goes to the Eagles.
And Barry sticking with this press that led to Emery's turnovers. Oh, and another turnover right there by Lyndall because of that press. So the press has been effective in this fourth quarter, these past couple of possessions.
So the ball goes back to the Vikings with a minute 8 to play in this game. 58-41, Emery still on top. Mourning going back and forth with Carmona. She's now inside the paint in front of the free throw line. Dish it out to Sandman. Sandman puts it up from three, well short.
That might have been blocked by Erato.
Great job there by the defense. Fast break here for Ripley. She puts an easy layup off the glass and in. That's Ripley's first points of this game. It's 60-41 with 40 seconds to go in this one. Eagles on top, trying to hold out for the victory. Coming down is Blankenship, but she kicks it out of bounds. And we'll go back to the Eagles. 36 seconds to go. Inbound goes to Erato. Eagles just going to try and run out as much clock as they can here. Now it's going to be Brock with it, crossing the timeline, battling with Hunt. Kicks it over to Ripley at the top of the key. 20 seconds to go now. 15 on the shot clock. Driving in and putting up a shot is Lyndall. No good, but draws the foul. Lyndall will make her first trip to the line. The foul is going to be on Evelyn Parsons, her first foul.
And coming into today, she's shot 27 free throws and made 14 of them, so she'll have 2 more opportunities here.
52% on the season. Trying to up that a little bit here with a couple of shots. 17 seconds to go. First shot up by Lyndall. Little short off the front of the iron, and she'll try one more. Second shot goes up, and this one misses as well, bouncing around the rim. 16 seconds to go. Mourning picks it up for the Vikings, comes right back down, kicks it out. 3 put up by Blankenship, no good off the heel of the rim, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds in favor of the Vikings with 7.3 seconds to go. So the Vikings will get one more chance to add a few more points on here before this one's over. Emery up 60-41. Inbound goes to Blankenship, drives inside the paint, loses a handle of it. It is picked up by Ames, and she is wrestled to the ground. And a foul will be called. That'll
Great
be
hustle on that one by both teams to secure the basketball and get another jump ball.
So that'll be a foul on Blankenship, her first foul. 3 seconds to go. Inbound will go to Erato, and that will do it for this one. So Emery, after a slow start in that first half, is able to pick it up, and they were able to really take it to Barry in the second half. Final score 60-41. Emery on top, and overall very, very strong second half here for the Eagles.
Yeah, overall a great effort from both teams, but similar to last year's game, Emery versus Barry, that third quarter was very telling, and Emery was just able to pull away with consistent offense, consistent field goal shooting, and good smart shots. And Barry just struggling to get into a rhythm, struggling with Emery's pressure. So overall, a great game by both teams, lots of hustle, and look forward to seeing these teams in action for the rest of the season.
So again, the first half we were talking about little sloppy there. Both teams couldn't quite get anything going definitively. But as we talked about at halftime, big time second half team. Emory does a good job making adjustments and then being able to act on those. Coach Jackson does a great job implementing those, and we saw that there where they just flat out shut down the Vikings there in the third quarter, allowing them only 4 points, and that was a turning point in this one.
Oh, absolutely. They definitely made the adjustments, slowing down on offense, as well as increasing and maintaining that defensive pressure. And then on the flip side, Barry just struggling a little bit more with that pressure to get into that flow on offense in that third quarter.
So scoring leader in this one for the Eagles, it's going to be tied with 13 for both Molly Weiss and Erin Lindahl. So some big performances from both of those players off the bench. A lot of threes. We saw 5 threes between the two of them, which really was a big difference, especially there in that third quarter as 3 of them came in the same quarter. So we saw some good shooting there from Weiss, some good shooting there from Lyndall, and then just some good play across the board from both sides of the ball here for the Eagles. So coming up next, they're going to play Bates on Thursday. What do you expect to see in that game?
That's another great regional opponent. Emery did not play against them last year, so we're just looking to get another region win. When it comes to looking at the season as a whole, if Emery does not win the UAA outright, they don't have an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. These region wins are really important to have a good region ranking to hopefully get an at-large bid to the tournament. So last year, Emery tied for second in the UAA and got an at-large bid because of these region games. So hopefully Coach Jackson can go 2-0 in these final 2 region games, get another win at Bates, or here at home against Bates, and then go into conference play with a good region ranking to just start conference play strong.
That game is set for 3 o'clock on Thursday right here from the Woodruff P Center in Atlanta, the home of the Eagles. Well, that will do it for this one. Thanks so much for joining us here for Emory Eagles basketball. I'm Mark Cochran, and for Michele Bevan, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.